Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is inspired by some recent conversations I've had with students, as well as noticing a lot of the folks I follow on YouTube, the photographers I follow, are saying something similar. And that similar thing is they're really struggling with creativity. And the reason they're struggling with creativity is a little different than the normal struggles we all have with creativity, and that is because we're living in this quarantine time. I'm recording this video at the end of February 2021, so we're almost a year into this lockdown, this COVID life. Plus, everything else that's happening in the middle of all this just seems relentless. The amount of stress we're dealing with. So we've got weather situations, we've got politics, we've got all the stuff of the normal personal things, and then global things and national things and state things. All those things just add up, and they've just, like I've said, seem to have been relentless this past year. So that takes a big toll on most people's, I think, ability to be creative. The stress of everyday life, the need to just almost survive, puts you lower on the hierarchy of needs and the things you can do. You're just trying to get to the next day. So, as I was thinking about this a little bit, I wanted to make a video where I shared some thoughts I have about that I've shared with students about ways to not overcome this, but to address it. Some steps you can take. There's some suggestions. And please know that I share them because I need to hear them, think about them, do them, just as much as I hope they will be helpful to you. So I'm going to call this the M.A.R.S method of, or suggestions or cure or whatever you want to call it, because I like acronyms and acronyms help me remember things. So here is the M.A.R.S method. So M.A.R.S, some suggested tips. Now I have a bonus for you. I'm going to give you two words to associate with each of those four letters in the word M.A.R.S for a total of 8 ideas. All right. I know, math. So let's start with the M in M.A.R.S. M. So the first one is movement. It's hard to be creative when you're sitting around. If my camera's sitting on the shelf and not in my hand, I'm not going to be very creative. So it starts with movement. I think we tend to think of creativity as a passive thing. We wait for it to happen. I made a video a few weeks ago about creativity and inspiration, and during the process of making that video, I realized that I need to look at creativity differently and view it as an activity, not a passive thing that I wait to happen. Creativity happens in the midst of doing something. Inspiration happens then. So sitting around, the inertia of the couch and the gravitational pull of the couch is strong. I totally get that. But need to get out, do something, pick up the camera, pick up your paintbrush, pick up your whatever device you use to create, and get started. That's the big thing, get started. The second M is mood. I think oftentimes, at least maybe this is my preconception, when I think of creativity, especially around photography, we think of the happy photos. We think of puppies and kittens and sunrises and sunsets, those kind of happy photos that just go, oh. And we need to lean into our current mood. So if you're not feeling happy, don't try and make happy things. Go ahead and make the things that are moody and dark and representative of what you're dealing with. That's what art lets you do, is it express all the emotions, your anger, your happiness, your I can't think of any other ones, but the whole range of human emotions we can express with our creativity in our art. So lean into those things. You don't have to make happy, pretty photos. They can be ugly, grungy, dark, things that reflect your mood. And that's totally great. Because in dealing with that, what happens is sometimes then you can alter your mood. You've maybe purged it, or sometimes you've amplified it, and that helps move forward. All right, so those are the two M's. Let's move on to the two A's. The first A I'm going to recommend in the M.A.R.S method here is accountability. Accountability is the process of, where you say you're going to do something and then someone says, did you do it? So for me, I found that very helpful. I've used this YouTube channel as an accountability where I said I was going to take 100 photos with a new lens within a month. I've told friends, hey, I'm going to get this done by this time. And so here's my framework and suggestion for accountability. One, find an accountability buddy, I'll call it. So someone you can count on to say, did you do that thing? And then keep it simple. Just say, I'm going to do this by this time. Boom, done. And then how are you going to do it? Are you going to post it to Instagram? Are you going to make a print? Are you going to create a website, create a portfolio, whatever? Be specific and give yourself reasonable deadlines and due dates and accomplishments that you're going to do. So accountability, find an accountability buddy, big thing. Another thing about accountability, if you would like me and this little YouTube community to be your accountability buddy, just leave a comment below what creative thing you're going to try and do, when you're going to have it done, and where we can go take a look at it or listen to it or eat it, whatever your creative thing is doing. So yeah, go ahead and let us know below, and we'd be glad, or at least I'll be glad, to be your accountability buddy for that. The second A, the bonus letter, a word to go with A, is attitude. And attitude and mood are similar, but they're a little different. I think attitude is how you feel about your mood. So attitude, I think we have it feels like at least, we have some ability to control it. There's something internal we can do, maybe some switches we can flip internally and mentally that we say, okay, so this is my mood, this is how I feel about it, so I want to make this change, or I want to acknowledge it, and then that helps me move forward. So being aware of how you're feeling, being aware of what control you have over it, being aware of ways you can affect, enhance, encourage, change your mood, that's attitude. All right, we're moving on to the R's. We have two of those. The first one I will suggest for R is routine. Our brains are very good at associating something with an activity. It's kind of the Pavlovian response. You smell good food cooking, you get hungry. So similarly, our brains know that if this external thing is happening, this also happens. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Think about times when you've been creative, when you felt most creative, or think to what everybody's calling the before time. What routines did you do when you felt creative? So here's my examples. I still set an alarm on the weekdays that I get up at a certain time. I shower, have breakfast, do my emails, do my things. I do all the things I usually do when I was driving to work and teaching classes face-to-face. So I do all those same things. And my brain thinks, okay, today's a work day, so we're going to do some work. That helps. That helps a ton. Another routine I would suggest, and I'll get to a little bit more of that on the S's, is to eat well, stick to a schedule, basically put on pants. That's what this one's all about. If you be a grown-up-ish and put on pants, that'll be I think a trigger to your brain to say, okay, something's different is happening. We're not just lounging around. We're not waiting for whatever's next on Netflix. We're going to do something creative now, where we have the better opportunity to, better environment to. Okay, so that's routine. Get back into whatever that routine or methods you use, the practices, the practical things you do day to day when you felt most creative. The second and bonus R word is relentless. Just like this time of stress over the past year has been relentless, we need to be relentless in our pursuit of dealing with that, in our creativity. Just because the thing I went and tried to create some photos today didn't turn out the way I wanted, doesn't mean I shouldn't go back out tomorrow and try and create more photos. And it may not happen. I may go out 10 times or even 100 times and not create exactly what I want. But each time, look for growth, look for progress. And in the process of doing that, again, the activity, the movement, they're all building on each other. There should be growth. There should be creativity. Next, we have the S in the M.A.R.S method, M.A.R.S, M.A.R.S. The first S is sleep. Sleep. I imagine as your schedule and routine gets disrupted, so is your sleep schedule. And if you're feeling depressed, one of the signs of depression is a disrupted sleep schedule. Either you're sleeping lots more or lots less. So try as much as possible in the midst of that routine to include good sleep habits in the midst of that. Don't sleep for 4 hours during the week and catch up on the weekends. There's no routine in that, and your brain chemistry gets all wacky or inconsistent at least. Along with sleep, that's just kind of a whole self-care overarching thing. So eat well, exercise, have some kind of physical activity that's good for your brain and creativity. Take a walk, all that stuff. Be aware of those things. Take good care of yourself. Eat well. Have a donut every once in a while. All that good stuff that just makes you healthy physically, so you can have a better chance to be healthy emotionally and creatively. All right, the second S and our last word to think about in helping us be creative in stressful times is simplify. I think we look for complex solutions. I know I do sometimes. And sometimes it's as simple as being glad I remember to take the lens cap off and then go outside and create some images. For me, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just do something. When you're not sure where to start, the best place to start is somewhere. So keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Each of these little steps or words I've given you are individually simple, and then you layer them on top of each other, and hopefully there's a little more complexity that helps you address all the stress and this relentlessness of the past year or so. So I hope you found this somewhat helpful. Maybe there's some tips or things you do, some practices that you found helpful in dealing with this COVID time. If you want to leave your thoughts in the comments below, I'd be glad to have those added to the conversation. It's so helpful to share what works with other people. And then, of course, as we are required by YouTube law, I would love if you would subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it with a friend or 10, and help them have some other resources and thoughts about dealing with this ongoing stress time. So I will see you again in another video before too long. Until then, have fun creating photos. Go get out there, go create some photos. And stay well, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we'll get through this. So bye for now.